Now at 5, you can now officially file your taxes for 2022. We'll hear from a local expert about available tax credits. Plus, the Joplin School District announces a pilot program to help kids transition into kindergarten. And
as people pay their respects, we're beginning to learn more about some of the victims in this weekend's mass shooting at a dance studio in Monterey Park, California. I'm Max Darrow with Community Reaction and the latest on the investigation.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities in Wilson County, Kansas have arrested a former Neodesha music teacher for child sex crimes. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Authorities say last April, 28-year-old Quentin Brockhold tried to entice a child to perform sexual acts and was found in possession of child pornography. He's charged with 19 counts of sexual exploitation of a child, 1 count of electronic solicitation of a child. Brockhold was the band director for the Neodesha School District at the time, though he is no longer employed by the district. Today is the first day to electronically file your taxes with the IRS. Pat Kelly is the owner of Joplin Tax Service. He says some people might be surprised with refunds this year. There was a law in place for the year 2020 that increased refunds through child tax credits, earned income tax credit, and stimulus. The law did not get renewed for the 2022 tax year.
So we have child tax credit, earned income tax credit are the most significantly affected credits, but also a lot of people got the stimulus money in their refunds last year because they hadn't received it during the year. And that was $1,400 per person, and that won't be on the tax refunds this year.
This year's filing deadline is April 18th. Meteorologist Sam Lane joins us now with a first look at the weather.
Thank you very much, Dow. It's a busy day here in the weather office in preparation of the winter storm that's going to be impacting our area over the next 24 to 36 hours. Winter weather advisories in effect for all of our area. Winter storm warnings are in effect for the southern portions, Lawrence, Berry, Newton, and McDonald counties, also Delaware County in Oklahoma. Then a winter storm watch for Ottawa, Craig, and Mays counties, as that warning may be expanded over into those areas as we go through time. But nothing on radar right now, but that is going to be changing. By tomorrow, we'll have some rain developing across our area, then a winter mix around rush hour, and then it will switch over to snow. So we're going to be dealing with a winter storm tomorrow night into Wednesday morning, and that is expected to have lots of travel problems associated with it. Of course, I'll have all the details in your forecast, and we'll break it down for you in just a little bit.
All right, we'll see you then. Joplin schools are testing a new pilot program for incoming kindergarten-age students. It's called SOAR, and it'll begin this fall. SOAR is designed for kids with later birthdays, typically June or July, and those who may not have had access to preschool. Officials say these kids may not have the same development as their peers, so SOAR will give them a kindergarten-like setting to reach those goals.
Students who may have late birthdays or they may not have an early learning experience, some of them can start out behind simply from an exposure standpoint, but have great potential. So for example, about 1 in 2 of our kindergarten students have no early learning experience.
School officials say students participating in high-quality early childhood education are more likely to graduate from high school and on average score higher on tests. An FBI search of President Biden's Delaware home has turned up even more material with classified markings. During the nearly 13-hour search, investigators poured over personally handwritten notes, files, papers, binders, memorabilia, to-do lists, schedules, and reminders going back decades. The president's attorney says the FBI took 6 items consisting of documents with classification markings and surrounding materials. Lawmakers are raising questions about what's going on and who had access to those areas of the president's home. Another victim of Saturday night's mass shooting in Monterey Park, California, has died, bringing the death toll to 11. 9 others were wounded. A candlelight vigil is planned for tonight. Reporter Max Darrow has the latest details of the investigation from Monterey Park.
Candles and flowers were left outside the Star Dance Studio in Monterey Park, California, Monday as a memorial to the victims of this weekend's mass shooting.
This is just a devastating, tragic moment for our community. I think many of us are still in disbelief.
The shots rang out as a group of mostly Asian American seniors celebrated the Lunar New Year Saturday night. Among the victims, 65-year-old Mai Nan. In a statement on Twitter, her family said she spent many years going to the dance studio. It's what she loved to do, and they are starting the Lunar New Year broken.
Today was supposed to be a happy, nice day for everyone to enjoy.
The shooting cast a shadow over Lunar New Year celebrations in this predominantly Asian American community. The city of Monterey Park says it has set up a crisis center for anyone affected by the tragedy. The LA County Sheriff identified the suspect as 72-year-old Hu Can Tran. Authorities say about a half hour after the first shooting, he entered another dance hall 3 miles away. A man working there says he wrestled the gun away from the suspect, who fled in a white van. Law enforcement eventually tracked down the van, and the sheriff says the suspect took his own life as a SWAT team moved in.
Several pieces of evidence were found inside the van, linking the suspect to both locations.
Investigators searched the suspect's home as they tried to determine the motive behind the massacre. Max Darrow, CBS News, Monterey Park, California.
The White House ordered flags at half-staff in honor of the victims. The U.S. State Department today announced sanctions on 10 Iranian individuals. The department says the sanctions are to promote accountability for human rights abuses against protesters by the country's regime. The sanctions were enacted concurrently with the United Kingdom and the European Union, targeting Iran's Deputy Minister of Intelligence and key commanders in the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. Still ahead, a global health concern.
A new push to ban trans fats worldwide. I'm Ian Lee with why the World Health Organization says it could save millions of lives.
Plus, what a lot of parents fail to do before taking their kids to the doctor. Those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, the FDA says it wants to simplify how Americans stay up to date on COVID-19 booster vaccinations. The agency says in documents posted today, it wants the process to be more like getting a flu shot. That would mean assessing what COVID strands are circulating in June and then preparing a dose for the fall. The FDA says the plan is to create a single annual shot to bolster immunity for most people, but those with certain risk factors might need two. The FDA's Vaccines Advisory Committee is set to meet Thursday to discuss the plan. A new warning from the World Health Organization about the danger of trans fats. The UN Health Agency says billions of people are still being exposed to the harmful toxins. Ian Lee reports.
Trans fats can be hidden in some of the tastiest treats, from pastries to pizza. The toxic additives are believed to be responsible for 500,000 deaths from coronary heart disease every year. And in a new report, the World Health Organization says enough is enough.
Think of artificial trans fat as the tobacco of nutrition. It has no valid use.
Denmark was the first country in the world to wipe out trans fats, and the FDA banned them in the U.S. in 2018. Countries across Europe, including the United Kingdom, set strict limits on the toxic fats.
There's been real progress, but still 5 billion people are living in countries that have not protected them from trans fat causing heart attack and death.
Some around the world worry getting rid of trans fats will force fast food favorites like burgers and fries off the menu. But the WHO says that's not the case.
It's possible to do the replacement and to have products which consumers will continue to buy, but that are healthier.
The WHO says Ecuador, Egypt, and Pakistan have high heart attack numbers and are still not taking action to protect their people.
Global elimination could prevent 17 million deaths over a 25-year period.
While more than 40 major countries have taken steps to eliminate trans fats, most of the world goes unchecked. Ian Lee, CBS News, London.
The WHO says it still hopes to convince countries to take serious action to ban trans fats by the end of this year. New research at UCLA finds a 4-drug chemotherapy regimen offers the best way to fight stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Many patients are currently using a 2-drug treatment, but doctors are finding better results with a more aggressive approach for people who are able to tolerate it. While most parents stay on top of regular checkups for their kids, a new poll finds many of them don't prepare properly for their doctor appointments. Researchers found a large percentage of parents don't write down questions or changes in their child's health before the WellCare visit. Researchers also recommend helping older kids come up with their own questions for the doctor. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, why a farmer advocacy group is asking the FTC to investigate the skyrocketing price of eggs.
And we're watching a big winter storm headed our way. I'll have all the details in your forecast when we come back. What a beautiful day across the 4 states. You wouldn't know it, but about 24 hours from now, things are going to dramatically change across our area. But of course, that is typical of the 4 states as well, with rapid weather changes. Right now, let's enjoy the nice weather down in Indigo Sky Casino and Resort in Seneca, Missouri. They're going to get a lot of snow down there once this thing is all over with. You can see the clouds starting to move in from the west. That's in advance of the storm system that is headed in our direction. This afternoon, though, 45 degrees, which was right on target for normal. A little bit cooler this morning at 21, which was slightly below the normals. Of course, we weren't anywhere near those records set back in the 1960s. All right, let's take a look at radar. Right now, it is all clear, but we have a winter weather advisory in effect for all of our counties, and even winter storm warnings for Lawrence, Berry, Newton, and McDonald counties, as well as Delaware and Benton counties in Arkansas, and then a winter storm watch is in effect for Ottawa and Craig counties, and they could be expanded, or this could be expanded over into those counties as we go through time. Right now, it looks like the storm system is moving right through southern Arizona, and you can see it's spiraling very well here near Tucson, and it's taking a perfect track for us to get a lot of snow across the 4 states. We'll have to wait and see exactly how this is going to pan out, but right now it looks like a pretty sure thing. Temperatures right now are in the 40s with southwesterly winds at light speeds, 42 in Grove as well as Anderson. And when you take a look at what it was 24 hours ago, we're actually about 5 to 10 degrees warmer now than we were 24 hours ago. You wouldn't know that there's a big snowstorm coming. Dew points are in the 20s and 30s across our area, and this is important because this is kind of where we're going to bottom out as far as temperatures go. And with dew points in the 20s below freezing, yep, that means snow is a good possibility. 42 right now in Joplin, west-northwest wind at 6, a beautiful sunset. Dew point is 28, and the pressure is currently falling on the hour. Rain chances over the next 36 hours. We're going to have slow chances through the overnight hours, but then as we go through the afternoon, it jumps up, and then around rush hour, we're going to see a mixture, and then it switches over to snow, and you can see that snow continues all the way into Wednesday morning. So let's break it down for you by time. We're going to be looking at temperatures dropping into the upper 20s to around 30 degrees tonight with easterly winds. Then as we go through the morning, precipitation will start to advance in from the south and west. Temperatures in the mid to upper 30s before the precip starts. And then as we go through the evening hours, by 10 o'clock, snow will be flying across the entire area, especially down to the south and east, along and south of I-44. Then as we go into Wednesday morning for your rush hour, snow will still be in our area, but it will be lighter, and it will start to move off towards the east. And then by Wednesday afternoon, we're going to see the snow ending from west to east with northwesterly winds and temperatures in the 30s, and then all the way down into the 20s as we go into Thursday morning. Snowfall amounts, well, let's take a look. Almost 12 inches down in northwestern Arkansas is possible, 10 inches in Benton County, then 8 inches in our southern counties, around 6 inches in Newton down into the Grove area. Here in Joplin, around 5 is what I'm thinking, and then lesser amounts as you go further to the north and west. Over the next 7 days, this isn't the only chance of winter-like weather. We have another shot at it, Dow, as we head towards next weekend, but we do have an alert day tomorrow and Wednesday, so you'll definitely need to stay tuned and keep advised on all the latest weather information and forecast updates.
Yeah, those snow amounts, particularly in the southern counties, could be troublesome.
It'll be pretty, but it'll be treacherous.
Yes, indeed. Thanks, Sam. Areas in the southern part of Maine got several inches of snow today. The National Weather Service advised people there that travel conditions would be hazardous due to the possibility of receiving up to 12 inches of snow. Also, power outages caused by trees falling on power lines. Coming up, if you're rethinking your current job, we're going to have some tips for an easier transition. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Howard Keith served in the U.S. Army from 1963 to 1966. He was stationed in Vietnam, and we salute Private First Class Howard Keith, a 4-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, a farmer advocacy group has asked the Federal Trade Commission to investigate the skyrocketing cost of eggs, alleging possible price gouging or coordination among major producers. Government data show the average price of eggs is up 60% compared to a year ago due to a deadly avian flu outbreak. This comes as U.S. Customs agents say they've been cracking down on the uptick in Americans trying to bring raw eggs across the southern border. Boeing has been ordered to appear in a Texas federal court this week. The aerospace manufacturer is set to be arraigned on a fraud charge involving the certification of the 737 MAX. The case is connected to a 2019 crash where all 157 people on board were killed, leading to a 20-month grounding of the jet. Boeing entered into a deferred prosecution agreement with the federal government in 2021, but it did not involve family members of crash victims. Families argued to the court they should have been allowed to participate in the case, and a judge agreed. The pandemic had millions of people evaluating their lives and rethinking their jobs. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger has some tips for people considering a new path.
Have you dreamed of shifting gears in your life? Maybe it's a new career or small business, going back to school, or finding a new place to live. If you seek to change your work, change your wealth, or change your life, there are specific steps to take. To reset to a new place, you must understand where you are today. Only then can you break through and take meaningful action and determine whether a reset is within your grasp financially. Take a good hard look at what you own, what you owe, your total income, and how much you're spending. I know the spending part is tough, but the pandemic reordered and reprioritized the most important items on which we throw our hard-earned money. It helped us understand what our real needs are versus those things that we think we need. Taking a good hard look is the key to learning whether your dreams of making a reset are realistic or if you need to adjust or tone them down enough to get most of what you want. The process will allow you to take smarter, more thoughtful, and perhaps more nuanced risks. In New York, I'm CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Now costs 3 cents more to drop that Valentine's Day card in the mail. The price of forever stamps went from 60 cents to 63 cents starting yesterday. The U.S. Postal Service announced the change back in October. This is the third price increase for forever stamps in the past 17 months. History was made this weekend with James Cameron's Avatar: The Way of Water crossing the $2 billion mark worldwide. That's according to Deadline. It's the sixth movie to ever gross $2 billion and Cameron's third. His first Avatar film and Titanic also surpassed that milestone. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, an interview with the governor of California in the wake of that deadly mass shooting there. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to have more tips from a local tax expert to help you maximize your return. Plus, a Southwest Missouri police officer goes above and beyond the call of duty by delivering a baby while on patrol. And we're going to hear from the Chiefs head coach as the team prepares for their 5th straight AFC Championship game appearance. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Some $20 million worth of looted antiquities are back in Italy thanks to the work of New York City's Antiquities Trafficking Unit. Many of these ancient artifacts were trafficked and ended up in the collection of American billionaire Michael Steinhardt, who has been banned for life from acquiring antiquities by the New York City District Attorney. Some really old art there. Snow chances ahead.
Snow chances definitely ahead. Let's take a look at the forecast on the accumulations amount. They're going to mainly be down to the south, or the heaviest anyway, in northwestern Arkansas. But even here in the Joplin area, around 4 to 6 inches in the metro, lesser amounts to the north and west. And then if we take a look at the extended forecast, we're going to see another round of snow perhaps next weekend, but still a little bit more time to look at that. And we'll worry about that as we get closer.
I guess. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. And of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.